Welcome to today's Monday's day one of our workshop. We have our new special guest here, Carly Meyers. She's brand new to the high level ecosystem as being one of our guests on one of our high level stages. And it's an exciting time because she's joined us in person.
Thank you. I'm so excited. You probably hear I'm tuning in from across the pond in the UK. But I'm so excited that we can do this. I've watched these workshops myself so many times. I got so much value from all of these. And when I was starting out in my business, it was this that, taught me everything that I know. So I'm so grateful to be able to give back and to be part of this today. It's super cool. Oh, in a one-liner, this is really I can hear myself back. This is really like an identity shift. What I'm going to teach you today is going to teach you how to go from standard run-of-the-mill agency owner where there's loads of them. You're really in like a busy market there. What I'm going to teach you today is going to help position you in a completely open market. This is wide open, and there are people literally running for this kind of service. I've never actually experienced this in my business so much, where I'm offering something and people are genuinely biting my hands off. So I'm going to teach you actually how to position yourself in a market which is currently, just wide open. I know that wasn't one sentence. You're going to learn this from me. One sentence does not happen often. I've got a lot to say. But it's incredible. It's been such a major shift in my business, and I'm so excited. I was putting my slides together and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm so excited to share this, because I really think this is not only going to impact your business. Sometimes these things that you share, you see the impact 6, 9, 12 months down the line. This is such a big impact on your business really quickly. It can make a massive shift in your business. So that's what I'm really excited to share with you.
For those of you, you'll see a QR code here on the top corner. Scan that QR code. That'll get you all of the event reminders. It'll get you access to the snapshot. It'll get you access to the resources, pretty much everything that you're going to need for this particular training. And then, as always with all of our trainings, results may vary. Past performance is not a guarantee. A future performance and high level does not guarantee that you'll experience financial gain or generate revenue, as results will vary. And if you have questions, you could absolutely comment below, Q and your question. I'm going to put a bunch of these questions together for Carly at the end of our workshop here. We're going to ask a few things here. We got day one ahead of us. We're going to ask for your engagement, just having conversations here, sharing your opinion, your experience, or where you might need some help. But Carly, if you don't mind breaking down here day one of what we're about to unpack in the content, and then touch on day two, and then I'll switch the screen right over to you.
Amazing. So we're going to be diving into the problem with the traditional agency model. I'm an agency owner myself, and I really felt the going to be breaking that down, how to capitalize on the AI gold rush. I don't know if you feel this yourself. You're like, this AI boom is coming, and I really want to make sure that I capitalize on it, but how do I do it? That's what I'm going to be breaking down today. The new model that landed me a 50K client, actually the first time that I did this. The audit framework, I'm going to be breaking down every single piece of that, and how to charge 10K per audit without any delivery. So you're literally selling your brain here. And if you're thinking, but I don't know enough, which is what most people say, don't worry, I'm going to be talking to you all about that as well. Do you want day two as well?
Yes, please. And then as we
Day
lead into
two.
that, I know today we're going to be going over the snapshot that'll lead into day two.
Mm-hmm.
But can you just touch on a little bit about what they should expect, or maybe what they would need to get ready for day two?
For sure, yeah. So day one is really about I'm really breaking down the opportunity, the framework, really kind of showing you the broad overview of how this all works. But then day two, this is when we're getting into the nitty gritty. This is where I'm going to really show how do you use high level in order to bring all of these pieces together and automate this business. We were talking about this just now, how I have a business now which runs, a large part of it runs without me, and it's because of these systems and these tools and these automations that we have in place. So day two, I would say that you definitely want to have your trial started by day two, because you're gonna wanna, as I know what's going to happen, you're going to get off this call and you're going to be like, I want to book my first audit. And so you don't want to waste time. You want to dive in straight away, have your account set up, make sure all your bits are done so that you can dive into this, because we're going to be covering the exact workflows that allow me to automate my entire process, how you can price your audit and charge up to 10K per audit. So I do have a framework around how to know what to charge for what, and how to get clients that are begging to pay you. They're literally biting your arm off. And then, of course, I'm going to be diving into all your questions. By the time you get off this workshop, you are ready and raring to go, and you have all the info that you need. So I'm not going to hold anything back. I hope you're ready. I'm going to give it all to you. I'm not one of those speakers that just, skims over. I want to give you the good stuff.
No skimming allowed. We got this here. I got this screen here ready for you to share yours. In the comments below, can you just share with me how many of you are now using AI for your audits, or positioning AI into understanding what someone's doing for their business, whether you're taking a spreadsheet of something they're doing now, whether you're grabbing some of their content and trying to give a better angle for that content. Let us know how you're using AI, and which AI tool are you using at the moment. Are you using GPT? Are you using Grok? Are you using whichever one you're using? Comment below. We're curious on that. And then Carly, I'm going to go ahead and pass over the controls over to you. And I'm sure people are curious, like, who are you if they haven't met you yet at the SaaSpreneur in London? But do you mind sharing a little bit about your backstory, and then how that is relevant to high level, and then what we're going to be going on?
Of course, quickly say how I've ended up here as well. If anyone is wondering, how do I get on these calls? How do I deliver? So HighLevel hosted the SaaSpreneur Summit in the UK, and I really wanted to go, but I couldn't go, and I had so much client work on, and I've got a mum of two, so there was loads going on, and I couldn't make it. And then Paulson messaged me on Instagram and said, "We'd really love to see you. The team are all here. We'd love to see you. Love it if you came down." So I was literally in my pajamas in bed, ready to go on the school run, and I was like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to get a train into London and go and see them. Now, to give you an idea, this is like a 3-hour round trip for me. I knew that if I got in, I'd probably have about 45 minutes to an hour, but I was like, I just want to meet these people. HighLevel has changed everything for me. I've been in this business now for like 14 years, and it's only when I came across HighLevel that everything changed. So I really wanted to meet the people that were part of that. So I went and met them. The team are incredible. Anyone who's been to a HighLevel event will know that this is no normal event, and this is no normal team. And so I met them. We, started a great relationship. I had such a great time there. And then we've just built on that relationship. So if you want to be doing things like this, make sure that you're going to the events, and make sure that you're putting yourself out there to meet the team, because they really want to speak to you and they really want to connect. So just wanted to put that out there, because that is how this all came about. So as I said, my name's Carly. I built a $2.2 million business in social marketing. I was doing that for the past 14 years. I'm a speaker and a podcaster. I'm actually one of the speakers at this year's summit in Dallas, which I'm super excited about, mainly because I get to fly to Dallas on my own with no kids. Any mums or dads out there that have flown with children know how exciting that is. I own my own agency, Momentum AI. It's an automation agency. And then I'm also the founder of Made for More AI. So this is my white label SaaS of GHL. And I'm also a mum of two. I have a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. And this is such an important piece for me, because everything that I teach, everything that I build in my life, everything I do is in order to get more time back. That's kind of the compass of how I make all my decisions. How can I get more time back so that I can be more present with my children? So that you're going to see a real kind of through line with that, with everything that I speak about today. But I want to let you know that I was not born into the tech world. I definitely was not this way. I was actually born in a leotard. I was a dancer for most of my life. So the trajectory of my life always looked like I was going to be a professional dancer. And I was in Wicked. I was in We Will Rock You. I toured with Monty Python. I did amazing shows all around the world. And then one day I got injured and I couldn't dance anymore. And that was the end of my dance career. And so I didn't really know what to do. Ended up then getting a job at the Apple store in my local town. And that's really where I learned to break down complex tech into simple terms. John, who was like 80 years old, would come into the Apple store, for like the third time that week and be like, can you reset my Apple ID? And I'd need to talk him through a MacBook Pro really simply. And I really learned how to kind of, talk about tech, a lot of jargon. And so I started to get in like that. And then I began teaching people. I started my social marketing business, began teaching people how to create courses. And I realized that people were just getting stuck at the tech. I'd say, go and create a lead magnet, or go and do this funnel page, or just build this course. And everyone had so much that they wanted to give, but they were just getting stuck at this tech bit. And then I came across HighLevel. And when I came across it, I was like, oh my God. First of all, joining at HighLevel meant that I could actually cancel about 9 other subscriptions. I was with loads of other tools and I managed to cancel all of those and just use this. But then I also realized that we have this incredible snapshot feature, which is where you can actually build a business, all your automations, emails, funnels, everything like that, pick up that entire business and drop it into someone's account. So for me, as a coach teaching people how to create courses, I was like, this is brilliant. I can just teach them how to do it. And then I learned more about Go HighLevel, and I was like, oh, there is so much to do. And I learned about the SaaS mode. And I learned that I could actually take this software, which I now loved and I was telling everyone about, and it could be my own product. And I could sell this myself, and this could be part of my brand. And I would take, all the subscription income. It's wild. When I kind of got my head around it, I was like, this is wild. So I had this idea. I remember it was literally like 3 days before Christmas. And I don't know about you, but whenever I have an idea, I have to act on it like yesterday. So literally all through Christmas, I was putting together my SaaS agency. I was watching workshops like this and I was putting it together. And then 8 weeks, I actually launched it really quickly later, but 8 weeks later of launching my SaaS, I was already earning like, 8.5, it was $10K a month at this point. And I was thinking, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe I got a software, and so many people were joining, and it was just the most, and I loved it. But then what actually happened as a result of that is that people were saying, this is so good. I love this software. Can you just do the stuff for me? Can you just build the stuff for me? So then by default, I ended up having an agency. That was never part of the plan at all. And I ended up having this agency, and it just grew and grew and grew. And we were, we had loads of clients. It was really flourishing, but it was a lot. And I want to be really honest with you. So I went on holiday. When I had my agency, I went on holiday, and I was so excited for this holiday. We were having 2 weeks away as a family. And when you're just about to go on holiday and I felt like I'd given everything to everyone. Like I'd given so much, and I was fully burnt out at this point. And I went on holiday, and this is what I was imagining. I was imagining, we'd just be there having dinner. It would be so light and free. And, I would just have this lovely, relaxing 2-week holiday. But the reality of that holiday was this. By the way, I can't even believe I'm sharing this photo. This is how much I care about you, that I'm sharing my makeup-free hair and pigtails photo. But this was the reality of it. So as soon as I landed, everyone wanted a piece of me. All my clients were contacted to message and say, hey, is this email sequence going out? Is this funnel going out? Is this going out? And I felt like I was being torn in a million different directions. I don't know. Please put in the chat if you've ever felt like that. Any agency owners here, anyone in a service-based business, let me know if you've felt that way of feeling like you've built this monster business, but everyone wants something from you. I want to know. I'm sure I'm not the only one there. So
we definitely have comments coming in here. You definitely strike the chord on a Monday morning, Carly. And that was the goal. I mean, yeah, it's painful. It's absolutely painful. And I appreciate you sharing this, because sometimes people feel like they're alone doing this. Like, this is just them.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I was thinking, there must be an easier way of doing this. Surely not every agency owner is sitting in pigtails with no makeup on their bed on holiday answering a million Slack messages. Like, there needs to be a better way. And you'll notice here in this picture, there's a book next to me called, which is Buy Back Your Time. Has anyone read that book by Dan Martell? So good. And I was reading that book and learning all about how I can, get my time back and things like that. And again, I had this kind of moment. So my light bulb moment was I realized that this isn't what I want. I don't want a business where I'm, on call all the time. People are always wanting something from me. I'm serving all of these people. As a mum of two, my kids are hanging off me all the time. And I felt like my clients were hanging off me all the time. And I was reading this book and he kind of opened my eyes completely. So again, in a moment of spontaneity, I decided, right, I want to hire Dan Martell as my coach. So I signed up for him to coach me, and I was laying on the sun lounger and I was on a call, and it was a group call. It wasn't just me and him while I'm like on the lounger. It was a group call, and he was talking about the agency model, and this agency model that he takes his clients through, and the results had been incredible. He'd taken his clients from doing X amount to like more than 10x over the course of 12 months. And I was looking at this model and I was so excited about it. I was like, tell me the model. And he drew it all out on his iPad. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was doing. That's exactly what I was doing at the beginning of my business. And it was working really well. And then I did that classic entrepreneur thing of being like, this is working really well. I'm going to stop doing it. Has anyone done that where you're like, this is so good, let's stop doing it and try something else? And I really had that wake up call of like, I remember when I was doing this and it worked amazingly. So I thought about my clients and I thought, if I was to get rid of all my clients, who would I keep? And there were 2 clients that I wanted to keep. And then I thought, what is the difference with those 2 clients? Why do I enjoy working with them so much? And the difference was they both did an audit. I did an audit with both of them, and that set us up for a really strong working relationship. And it set us up for just a brilliant experience of how we work together. And I realized that the ones that I didn't, I just jumped in straight away. I said, yeah, well, I'll work with you. And I hadn't done any of that kind of qualification process in the beginning. So I want to ask you this question. What if you started getting paid for your discovery calls? Think about how many discovery calls you do, and what if you got paid, instead of giving it away for free, instead of giving your brain and your thoughts and your insights and all of the good juju that you've got for free, what if you actually started getting paid for it? It's a good question, right?
Yeah, and I've got some comments that'll be coming in here shortly. When you realized that it was time for you to start getting paid, was there a moment where you felt that you were like taking candy from a baby? Like, this is something sometimes that people assume that is like part of the sales process. It's free. It's the sales call, but now you're charging for the sales call. Could you share a little bit about how you shifted while we get those questions, and that question answered?
So I totally had that thought, when Dan was saying, you need to charge for your sales calls. Why are you still doing them for free? I totally had that thought of, I can't do that. That's just what we do. We sell through sales calls. That's just how we do it. And here's the truth of it. Coaches sell through sales calls. Agency owners may sell through sales calls, but there's one type of profession that doesn't sell through sales calls, and those are consultants. Consultants do not give everything away on their calls. I kind of looked at the process of this, and it's so different how kind of consultancy companies work. And the difference here is, instead of trying to do what every other agency owner is doing, but charging for it, which sounds wild, instead move yourself into a different market entirely and become an AI and automation consultant. Or a name I actually prefer, which, because it's much jazzier, is become an AI growth architect. Oh, that looks good. When that's on your LinkedIn bio, that's good. I really like it. But that is really what we're doing, because if you think about an architect, we're not, teaching people, we're not building things for them. We're saying, this is the plan, this is the roadmap. And there are 2 things that business owners want right now. Number 1 is they want clarity. They are so desperate for clarity. There is noise everywhere. Their Instagram feed and their LinkedIn feed is constant. You should do this. You should do this. If you don't do this, you're going to miss the boat. And it's so noisy. So they want clarity, but they also want the roadmap. They just want someone to turn around and say, this is what you need to do. You need to take this step. You need to take this step. You need to take this step, and then this is the result that you're going to get. And so by positioning yourself as an AI growth architect, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to do this, by positioning yourself as an AI growth architect and not just an agency owner like everyone else out there, where I'm just going to build your stuff, but you bring the strategy. They don't have the strategy. You know, so many people are hiring agency owners, but they're also hiring coaches and all these other people. What we're saying here is I'll give you that clarity and I'll give you that roadmap, and then we can build from there. So are you excited about this? I hope you're excited. I'm so excited to give it to you. Now, the reality is the AI and automation consulting space has a massive supply problem. There are millions of businesses that desperately need this guidance and almost no one qualified to do it. And I'm sure you read that and you say, yeah, but I'm not qualified. I couldn't do this. I'm going to show you how you can actually start to become qualified in this and have a massive step up by using AI yourself in order to get that step up and in order to be able to provide this service for people. So don't count yourself out. If you're sitting here and thinking, I couldn't be a consultant, I didn't know how to tell people, do not worry. I'm going to go through all of that. I've got tools and tricks and all the good stuff. Now, the opportunity to become a trusted AI and automation consultant is immense, but it's not obvious. There are not many people talking about this. There are not many people that are talking about how you can become an AI consultant. But today, this training will make it obvious. By the end of this training, you're going to be like, is it that simple? Is that all it is? And that's my goal. I want you to be leaving this training and diving straight into it. So the problem with the traditional agency model, look, I have an agency, so I'm not against, agency owners and things like that. I think there is definitely a great place for it. It's not the easiest business model. The problem is you spend loads of time on discovery calls when really you should be promoting. Anyone who owns a business today, really you as the founder need to be spending 80 to 90% of your time promoting that business. And then the fulfillment needs to be on the back end, but it's hard. It's hard when people are bought into you. It's hard not to do that delivery yourself. Naturally, we always over deliver. I always do this. Whenever I'm on a call with people, I want to solve their problems straight away. And I give all my secret sauce. I'm like, well, you could do this and you could do this. And you should have an automated email sequence there. And what about a nurture sequence? And I'm giving it all away. And I'm like, be quiet, Carly, you're giving it away. So it's so hard. I don't want to go on a call and, not give value. I don't want anyone to leave a call with me and think that it was a waste of time. So I really find it hard not to give everything away. And it's really hard to know someone's business in just a 1 hour discovery call. When I look at the people that were causing me so much headache on that holiday, it's the people that I hadn't vetted their business properly. When I lifted the hood of their business, that's when I realized, well, I thought they needed this and I thought they needed this, but actually they don't even have any of this stuff set up. So then it turns into this, huge project which you never knew. And that's where you get bad fit clients. It's not that they're bad people, but they're a bad fit for you. And that is actually a top tip. Even if you are going to go the agency route and you really love that and you love that model, the number one thing you need to think of is, I need to get super clear on a good fit client for me and a bad fit client for me. And I need to have the discipline to say no to those that are not a good fit for me. This has been a hard lesson for me. I'm a yes person. I'm like, yeah, let me fix everything. Let me try everything and fix all of your life's problems. It's hard. The retainer model is exhausting. So, if you are having retainers, that retainer never stops. The stuff that they want, the stuff that they need from you, it never stops. And then lastly, AI, this is not the elephant in the room, we all know about it, but AI is going to replace the skills that agency owners were once paid very highly for. Tools are coming in which will, build entire funnels. HighLevel is creating stuff right now, which is making this super easy. So what I would say is, my advice for anyone right now that is really thinking, oh, how is AI going to impact me? Your number one goal is to become a master of the tools that are a threat to your business. Your only goal right now is to say, all these tools are out there. How can I just learn how they work? How can I just learn about them? So I have a basic knowledge about what's out there and, how I could help other business owners implement it. So I'm going to dive in straight away. I'm not even going to hold it to the end. We're going right into it in the beginning. So I'm going to talk you through the audit model. And this has really changed a lot for me. So I'm so excited to share it with you. So the first stage of the audit model is creating content. Now, some of you probably just died inside, but don't worry, I'm gonna teach you another way of doing it as well. But really, I would say, I mean, to be honest, everyone should be creating content. I know that's the most boring thing you've heard all day, but it is so true. So I want to be creating content and creating content just about AI in general and automation, and the message between it doesn't the message of it doesn't need to be this hard, this manual way of how you're running your business right now. It doesn't need to be like that. That's kind of the premise of the content. I'm going to dive into that more in a second. The second part is that you sell it through the DMs. So you're not then spending time getting on a call, qualifying them, finding out that Julie from wherever doesn't even have a business, but she's just thinking about it, and you're like, damn it. You're going to be qualifying them in the DMs, and there's a real structure and a script to how you do this. And again, I'm going to be giving that all to you. The third step is the paid discovery interview. Now, this is the road mapping. This is where we say, let me dive into your business. I'm going to ask you loads of questions, and I'm going to start to get a good idea of what's going on in your business. Now, these interviews, depending on the size of the team, you might be interviewing a couple of people in the team. So again, I'm going to be diving all into this. Don't worry, if you've got questions of any of these points, we're going deeper into it, but I want to give you the kind of overview of how this all works. So the interview, then we give them a full report. So we say, based on our findings, this is what we believe is you could do in your business. This is how you could implement AI and automation. This is the ROI it's going to have in your business. And based on that, this would be the project that I would recommend. Then you've got a couple of options. You can either decide to do this in-house. So if you have an agency, if you have a team, if you want to do this, then you can keep this all in-house. This is a really, really slick and nice way of selling your agency services and getting paid on the front end. Or you may decide, I don't want to run an agency, but I don't want to just pass them off to someone. So you could create partners. So there are so many other brilliant agency owners in the HighLevel network. You could find an agency owner that you connect with, partner with them, and then you send that project to them. You say, here you go, here's the whole roadmap. You go off and do it, and then you get a kickback from that partner. Or they can go and do it themselves. If you're working with a big business, sometimes they have people in-house, but at least you're giving them the roadmap and saying, this is where you go. And then, of course, the wonderful world of HighLevel is that 90%, I think I say this on another slide, but 90% of what they need can be done on HighLevel. Most of the time, if they are not on HighLevel, there's two things that I normally do. I normally get rid of all their other platforms, and I say, get rid of all of that, stop paying for all of those platforms, and just use HighLevel, because you're going to save yourself loads of money. But B, pretty much everything that they need in their business can be done on HighLevel. So you are either going to get a SaaS, if you have a SaaS, a white label SaaS, you are either going to get that full subscription coming back into your business, or you can decide just to be an affiliate of HighLevel and get that affiliate income. So regardless of what happens, even if you send them on their merry way, and they don't do, you don't do any of the fulfillment, you're still going to get them on that software and have those, that recurring income. And then, of course, the last step is that you can then upsell any other services. For example, if they want email marketing, email outreach, set them up with an AI tool, and then they can pay you a fee to just have access to that tool. Remember, we're the ones that are putting in the time and learning about all these tools. And so they don't want to learn this, especially boomers. Baby boomers have zero interest in becoming AI growth architects or learning about this stuff. So they would just pay someone to go and do this for them.
Carla, if we could just keep this up here for a minute for everybody to have a chance to take a screenshot of this and take a screenshot, save it. And then in the comments below, what is your current process when trying to find new clients? Are you going on Instagram, sending 10 DMs a day? Are you going to networking events? Are you just only working off of referrals? Let me know in the comments below, what is your process now? We want to put those together and see what we can help a majority of you fill the gap. Now, there are people that, prospect out of Facebook groups. They're doing phone calls, they're doing SMSs, they're doing webinars and different collaborative events. Please share below. And then also let us know from those efforts, what is the timeline that it takes you to get them to be an appointment and to a sale? So I do, JB, I do DMs, 25 DMs. I get 5 people that answer, and I get 2 appointments. And usually, after that, I get them to be a customer in about a day or two, or same day, because my offer is so good. Let me know what that end result looks like in your sales process, because this could be maybe aligned with what you're doing now, or it could be a total shift. Um, Carly, when you were doing this, what were you doing before the audit model? Were you making phone calls? What was your like original way?
My original way was, I mean, I've always created content. I've always found that it speeds up the process, especially long form YouTube. It speeds up the process of someone finding out about you to getting to the point where they're like, I like you, I trust you, I feel like you're the right fit for me. So I find content does that really quickly. But I also actually use, I do have a LinkedIn automated outreach as well. So I actually have a LinkedIn tool which goes out and it connects with people, and then I take over the conversation from there. The bit that it does is just, goes and finds the people for me, the people that are perfect fit for my business. It goes and does that. But honestly, I've done so much stuff. I used to do the BNI meetings,
Mhm.
which it killed my soul. I'm not great in the morning anyway, to be honest. Going to an
Yeah, it's
8
not for everybody, that's for sure.
No,
But
it was not for me. I'm an introvert. I'm like, I'm obviously, if I'm on screen, I can do it like that. But really, I'm an introvert. I don't want to be mingling over like a croissant and a bacon sandwich. I don't want to do it. You know. So
yeah, and I think even just today, old school, new school, traditional, however you want to word it, it really comes down to what's comfortable for you, and then where you could challenge yourself. So it sounds like, you being an introvert, and I think a lot of people could relate to you. Absolutely, you went to make some content, and I'm sure that was a little hard in the beginning.
mhm.
There's a couple people here saying that I don't have any sales, I'm brand new. For someone that's looking to get their foot wet with this and get kind of just started, get rid of the excuses, get rid of the procrastination, what would you recommend for them? When you say create content, do you mean, grabbing a selfie and just kind of chatting away? Or do you mean going full-fledged webinar production?
Well, hold your horses there, JB, because I've got it all covered. I've got it all covered. But I will say, I won't keep you hanging. I will say that, you know, creating content, I've got a real kind of this is the way that I'm going with content right now. So when everyone is going left, I want to go right. And what this
Mm,
means is right now, really highly produced content, everyone's doing it. Everyone's got a media company, and it all looks great and it's all very fancy, and there's graphics and there's gifs. There's also loads of AI generated content. So what's going to happen is that's going to be just what we see. It's going to become like wallpaper. It just blends
mm.
into the background, and that's what we see. So the angle that I'm going with my content is me sat in a car like this. Most of the time I'm sat in a car, I've just dropped the kids off, I have a little moment of inspiration because I've listened to a podcast, and I jump in and I say something. So actually, I'm trying to stand out now by not being overproduced, by being supernatural in my own natural habitat, and not trying to be like all those other people that have massive budgets. What's the point? Just get out. If you've got something to share, most of the time, the best stuff that you have to share is when you've just listened to a podcast, you're on a dog walk, you're sat in the car. It's not when you've just sat down and paid for a production studio for 8 hours. Do you know what I mean? So I'm
Absolutely. I get to finally use the minivan and pull out the selfie stick and not feel like the oddball. So this is just kind of going with the flow. Like, if you want to talk about something, talk about it. How long do you hold your videos for? Or are you just like going live? Are you posting it right away?
if I do something like that, I'm literally just recording it. Top tip, never watch it back because you will never post it. So
Yes.
just record and go.
Okay.
But I just literally record it and then I post it. I don't think about what times I'm doing it, whatever. I haven't got time for that. I literally just get it out, and just I want a good message to get out there. And if I'm in that
Yes.
moment and I think this is where I'm going to come across, this is my fire, I want that fire to get out. So I really would say, you can overthink this content thing all you like, but the more you start to immerse yourself in this AI and this automation world and this high level world, there is so much cool stuff that I see, even just in the high level community. You know, I see Sean jumping in there with a Loom video and he's like, hey, we've just released this. And I'm like, oh my God, that is epic. So then jump on a video and you say, you know, I've just learned how to do this new thing. This is so cool. This is the problem that it solves. You don't even have to do a full sales pitch. You're just saying, you know, you're sharing the things that are out there, because what I realize is most people don't know what they don't know, and they don't know that you can automate half of the stuff that you can automate. And just by saying, you know, that thing, you know, when you wake up in the morning and your emails are going, how cool would it be if your emails were just totally automated and you didn't have to do that? So many people are going to be like, that would be amazing. How do I do that? Tell me more. I want to learn from you. And that's really what you're doing. You're just highlighting the pain points that people have and letting them know that there are AI and automation solutions because of that. So yeah, I'm going to go more into it.
Yeah. So, and I know that you break this down step by step. So folks, this is a good time if you have questions or goals or ideas. Like, I've been thinking about going all in on TikTok. I've been thinking about going all in on YouTube. What would be the best way if I took my efforts to LinkedIn? Jot those questions down below. I'm going to put them all together here. Once Carly's done breaking each step down, step by step, we'll go ahead and throw some questions her way. So help me help you. Carly, we're going to unpack this. Buckle up. Any other prerequisites here?
No, we're going to go into it. I told you, I'm not leaving anything out. We are going to go all in.
Let's do it.
The reason why this model works so well is because you get to deliver quick results for your clients, and that builds trust so quickly. How often, you know, if an agency client is going to come in, it's a fairly long time before they're getting the result that they want. But with this, you know, this happens over 5 days max. So they're coming in, they're saying, this is what I really want. I want clarity and I want a roadmap. 5 days later, it's in their inbox, you've done a call, and they've suddenly had that light bulb moment. So you win their trust so much easier, and it's so much easier to sell your services because of that, because they say, I asked Carly for something, she delivered it in 5 days. Let's see what else we can do. That whole journey, you're not doing any long, big sales pitches, trying to get into some psychoanalysis to try and get the yes. They are already bought into you because you've already delivered. The second thing is that it initiates the sunk cost effect. You know, when you're partway through a process, you are much more likely to complete that process, even if there's another option somewhere else. For example, if I've got a pack of biscuits and I eat 3 biscuits, I'm probably going to eat the other 7 instead of switching on to another pack of biscuits, because I'm already in there. I'm already eating those biscuits. I love a pack of biscuits. But you know what I mean? If you're partway through a process, you're more likely to just continue because you've already started that journey. So it means that continuing on and offering your agency services is just the natural next step. And then lastly, it generates cash flow to fund project-based team members. If you don't want to build a team of agency team members and developers and things like that that are going to help you, you could just say, this is what this client needs, and I'm just going to build the team around that to support that. And you've got a really good cash flow. So let's break it down. Let's get into it. So the interviews. Lots of people, the interviews is really where we're digging. We're digging. This is all we're doing here. We're not coming to these calls. Basically what happens is someone will book an audit and they say, yeah, okay, I want to go. And then we start the interviews, and we're going to interview. You're probably asking, who are we going to interview? There's 2 types of people we're going to interview in their business. We're going to interview the leadership team and the employees. Now you can do this for single business owners. It may just be that there's one of them in their team, or a couple of them in their team, and then you can interview both of those people. But for some of the businesses that I work with, the first one that I did this for was for like a they were doing like 4 million at the time. They had a really, really big team. So you want to speak to a handful of the leadership team and a handful of the employees, because the money is the gap between what leadership thinks is happening and what the employees are actually doing. So if you can identify that gap, the leadership team literally have a mind-blowing moment of like, I didn't know that was happening. So really what we're doing in these interviews is saying, how can I figure out what's happening with the leadership team? How can I figure out what's happening with the employees so I can get a whole picture of what is going on in this business, what's working, what's not, and how we can fix it. So, pro tips for the interviews. These are just Zoom calls. So you could do them in person if you want to, but most of the time I do them on Zoom calls. Each interview with each person will last 30 to 45 minutes. And it's all about asking questions. Now, here is what separates amateur consultants from the pros that get paid serious money. The first one is to listen more and talk less. The whole idea of this call is for you to just dig and ask questions. And I always let them know as soon as we get on that call, just to let you know, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. So I hope you're ready. Hope you had your cup of coffee. I'm just going to be asking a lot of questions. This is not for you to try and show how much you know. You have nothing to prove it. You don't need to show how much you know. You don't have to show how knowledgeable you are. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to ask them questions. And genuinely, if you ask not even the right questions, I will give you the whole list of questions that you need to ask. But once you start asking these questions, genuinely like 20 minutes into the call, they've already had a crazy moment, like light bulb moment. And they're like, oh, I didn't even realize that was happening. Or just by asking the right questions. The problem is they're not asking the right questions about their business. And when you do, it really shines a light on what's going on. So number one is listen more and talk less. Number two, ask why repeatedly. Literally like you're a toddler. You know, my toddlers all the time are like, what? Why do they do that? But why? This is what you point, Kirk. After you ask, shut up and listen. Listen, always listen. So ask why repeatedly. When they say, so I say, how do you do this process? Let's talk about how you deliver this product. And they will tell me, and I say, why do you do it like that? And they say, well, blah, 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 blah. But why do you do it like that? Ask why. The more they realize that the answer is normally because we always did it like this. And actually, a lot of the time, their business has actually outgrown their process and they hadn't even realized. So this is a really, really powerful question to ask. And you will probably give them a lot of clarity, even just in this interview process, just by asking that question. Record the call. This is such a key bit because we're going to be using the transcript of this call to help you with the next stage of generating your report, obviously with permission, but you would definitely want to record these calls. And then lastly, focus on problems, not solutions. The idea of this interview is not to give them the answers. We don't want to be telling them what we think at this point. We don't want to be telling them what they should be doing. All we're doing is digging for the problems. I just want to see a whole list and a whole map of problems by the end of this so that I can then later on piece together what the solution is. So those are my top tips. And remember, so this is the discovery interview framework. So if we're talking to the leadership team here, the objective is understand business goals, team structure. So we want to know their team structure. We want to know their key challenges. We want to know their success metrics. And leaders are usually right or wrong about the details. Now, I just want to talk, first of all, if anyone is kind of spinning out at this point and thinking, oh, this is all too much for me. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do with if I knew their team structure or their challenges. I don't know the answer to any of this stuff. Don't worry. All you are doing at this point is digging. You just got to be a good digger. Okay, you've got to be good at asking questions, and I will give you the whole list of questions. So don't let your brain run away from you right now and think that you couldn't do this, because I'm going to show you how you can. So in that interview with your leadership team, we're going to be asking things like this. So we want to find out the role and the team overview. I just want to see a whole kind of overview of what their team looks like, who does what their role is, and what they do. The second bit is the core processes and workflows. You know, what is the client journey? How do these products get sold or these services get sold? What happens when this product or service gets sold? What happens then? You know, I just want to see the core processes around, you know, acquisition. How do they find their clients, delivery, and then as well, tools and technology. This is always such a quick win because most of the time they will list loads of tools that they're using. And then I will say, okay, now go into your banking app, open up your banking app and tell me all the other ones that you forgot about. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know that I was paying for all these subscriptions. So this is always a really good light bulb moment for them as well, where they see how much they're using and how that just doesn't even make sense. pain points and strategic challenges. So I really want to know, like, what's causing you frustration? One question that I always ask is, you know, when you get to the end of the day and you think, oh, that was a really rough day. That was so stressful. That was not a good day. What happened in that day? What did that day look like? And, you know, I ask things like this because I want them to talk me through their day and what that looks like. So I really want to figure out what the frustrations and friction points are here. And then lastly, future vision. See, most consultants are so focused on what do you want that they actually don't focus enough on what the problem is. So I do want to get a really good clear idea of where they want to go, so that when I'm presenting my findings and I'm presenting my report, I can tie it in with that and I can say, this is how you're going to get to where you want to get to. You don't need to cross your fingers and hope and manifest anymore, because by implementing these things, this is going to help you get there. People love that kind of clarity. And then the employee questions are very, very similar. So a lot of it is exactly the same, but there's two things that are quite different. One of them is a step-by-step process deep dive. So I'm going to say, when you do that process there, can you just walk me through it? And they'll share their screen and they'll say, well, I click on that and then I do that. And most of the time, it's completely different to what their SOP is or what they would tell you. Leadership would say, this is how it happens, but really it's happening in a completely different way. And then lastly, communication and collaboration. How are the team communicating? I've just seen a comment there this was me. Stacey said, Lord, I've been doing this exact discovery interview framework for years in my agency, but not getting paid for it. I feel your capital letters, Stacey. I feel it. I was exactly the same. So these are the kind of questions that you're going to be asking. We really just want to say, you know, what communication-wise, how is this going? So this is how you're going to scale it with AI. And this is why you don't need to be an expert yet. By going through this process, I guarantee that you will become very, very, very knowledgeable in the world of AI and automation, but you do not need to have this to start with. So you're going to record your calls on Fathom or Fireflies or however you want to record them, and you're going to take that call transcript. You're then going to create a custom GPT with ChatGPT. I'm going to give you the full prompt for it. So I'm going to help you train your custom GPT, and you're going to take that transcript through that custom GPT, and you're going to say, can you give me a full audit report of what we've discussed in these calls? So you're going to be putting loads in there. Now, this is actually a really important thing. So I don't know if I come back to that later, but I really just want to say here is that this isn't the final report. Okay. So for anyone thinking, oh, you're robbing people by charging a lot of money and you're just running it through that, this is the starting point. Okay. So you will put it through there and you'll get a full report. And the prompt that I got you is training. It has been trained to give you exactly what you need to do to see in order to create a report, which gives great clarity, a full blueprint, a full timeline. So you're going to run it through your ChatGPT. By the way, if anyone doesn't know how to create a custom GPT, this is literally where you can create a team of employees using ChatGPT. I've done a full course on it. It's for free. It's on my YouTube. So this QR code will just take you straight to that video on how to create these custom GPTs. So sales and marketing manager, a business manager. I actually created a Dan Martell GPT. When I was on that holiday, I was like, I've got too many ideas in my head and I could call Dan Martell. So I created a Dan Martell GPT, and he's now my business coach in there. Did you want to say something, JB? You're jumping in, and so I want to make sure that you've got your spot. Otherwise, I'll keep talking.
Well, that's why we have you here. We bring the experts in to share what the people want. So I know that there's a handful of questions here. I will say, if you can start jotting down your questions, put Q and your question. I'm going to put these together here, and we can go for a little bit of a Q&A. Now, you had mentioned, Carly, with the starting point with the ChatGPT, if someone's using another AI language model, are there any best practices or any additional details for them to really do this the right way without creating their own?
Yeah, so the prompt that I give you in order to train it is a really good prompt. It's going to tell you exactly the output that we want. It's going to say, I want it in this format. This is what I want to show you. I'll show you exactly what it is in a second. But really what we're looking for is, I want to see what are the quick wins that we can implement here. What are the things that we need to, delegate and deprioritize? What are the big swings? What's going to be give the biggest impact with the lowest amount of effort? And what are the, I'll show you in a second all the slides, but there's so much of the framework is already built into that prompt. So you don't need to worry too much about that. But what I would say is, when I say it's the starting point, don't take the first output that it comes with. If you've been doing discovery calls before, you have an intuition. You know things. If you know Go High Level, if you've played with this before, then you will know, what it does and how the things that you can do. So you are going to have an intuition of when you can say, when I was listening to it, though, I thought it could do this. So, keep going back to that ChatGPT and saying, speak to it like it's a consultant and say, what do you think? Do you think this? And keep talking to that ChatGPT and going back and forth, collaborate with that ChatGPT until you get to the final result where you say, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I think. I think that's exactly what they need. I feel really, really strong with that. So I never take the first output, but I actually use it and I collaborate with that ChatGPT, with that custom GPT to get the output that I want. But it's such a good starting point. It's going to get you 60% of the way there, and it's going to spark your brain and give you all these ideas to say, oh yeah, and then if they do that, then they can do that, and it's going to kick off your brain. So definitely don't take it as the final thing, but use it as that kind of starting point to get you to the next step. And then, just to let you know, you're going to get all of this. So, everything that I'm talking about today. So my full snapshot, my automations, my absolutely everything you're going to get with my snapshot. You're going to get my whole script of how to sell it in the DMs. You're going to get my custom GPT training prompt. So Tanvir just said, what's the prompt to use for the GPT? It's all in there. If I put it on here, it's like a big long thing and it's a really boring slide. So you're going to get my full training prompt on how to train it, all of my interview questions, my report presentation slides, and you're also going to get weekly calls with me as well. You become part of my community. So if you are not a member of High Level already, then definitely start your trial, jump in. Queen of messy action, by the way. I just want to say that. So, if something is hitting a nerve today, if something is like just making you feel a little bit busy and you're like, oh, what if this could be the thing that works for me, then just go, move, take the messy action, dive in and just play around with this and see if this is the thing that fits, because this is probably the easiest model, the simplest model that I've ever come across, and it's perfectly positioned for what people want right now. So if you are already a high level customer, you can still click on the link, I believe, and you can still get the snapshot. There's like a little bit underneath that says I'm already a high level thingy. Is that right? Or there's another link that you can do. I messed that up.
Good. This is good. I got a couple people here asking, is this the end of it? Is this over? And folks, we greatly appreciate you joining us, but we're just getting started. So if you were trying to get off the computer, make your way to an appointment, you're going to have to put all that on hold. This was just a little bit of an intermission to kind of give you access to the assets, but Carly still has more to go. So definitely.
We're just getting started, but I knew that so many people would be messaging and saying, "Where's the prompt? Where's the prompt?" And
you knew that was coming, right? I feel like you
can get it all. This is not my first rodeo, so I want to give you the goods even before you.
All right. So real quick, just for comments here, how many of you, by show of hands, by typing 1 in the chat, how many of you want to know the prompt? Type in the chat number 1 that you want to know the prompt, and in the chat below as well, type 2 if you want to know what's next. Type 2 in the chat if you want to know what's next.
Laurie said, I imported the snapshot and now have a
Oh my goodness, that's the best moment.
Don't worry. All good. Just to let you guys know, I've only just thought of this, but I will do it for you. If you do join from this workshop, then I would love to do like a kickoff call with you. Then we can do a group call next week. I'll send you out the details for it. You can jump on, come armed with your snapshot. We can talk through it together and we can just dive into even more questions there. You'll be part of my community anyway. So we have these calls every week, but we can just dive all into it. My community calls, by the way, are really practical. It's not me talking at you, even though I'm talking at you today. They're really practical. We share the screen, we do stuff in real time.
There's a lot of ones, so we
good.
definitely gotta get to it, and then a bunch of twos are coming in. So I know you got more. Let's roll. Yeah. This is good stuff.
Let's go. Don't worry if you already have a HighLevel account, you can still get it. You're all good. Okay, so the prompt, really what we're looking at here, this isn't the prompt, but this is what it covers. We're going to map operations into 3 things. Acquisition, how do they get clients? Delivery, how do they deliver that product or service? And how do we support their clients? Categorize friction points as time sinks. So where are they losing time right now? And where is this a big risk? Where is something that they need to be aware of that they're not right now? Generate an AI opportunity matrix with 4 quadrants. I'm going to show you exactly what this report looks like in a second, but we're going to be looking at where are the quick wins, where are the big swings, where are the nice to haves, and where are the future projects. These are things that we don't want to be focusing on right now. Add a recommendation using the 3-point impact framework. So how can we help them save costs? How can we help them increase their sales? And how can we help them save their time? These are the big questions. You can get super fancy schmancy with this, but really what people want to know is how can I save more, save profit, save money, increase my profit, and not work as much as I am right now. Include financials where possible. So for example, I did one the other day and I asked them to send me their subscriptions. So they sent me a spreadsheet of all the subscriptions that they're using. So that was really great for me to then input into my custom GPT and say, this is what they're spending on subscriptions. If they were just to switch to HighLevel, how would that impact them? And, and there was a couple of other things they needed, but it was a really easy way of doing that. Build a phased roadmap. So if we were to focus on the quick swings first, the quick wins first, then the big swings, then the nice to haves, then the future plans, what would that roadmap look like over 3 to 6 months? You can do the time frame that you want. And then include the ROI calculations for each solution. So you're going to say, if they implement these things, what kind of money could they make from it? So this is what the prompt really breaks down, but you'll get that prompt in a second. And as I said, this is a starting point. You want to use your own intuition, but I promise you, once you get into these interviews, you are going to have your own feelings of what's not working. Sometimes an outsider looking in has so much more insight. So you are going to get something like that anyway. And then the report. So we get our output from ChatGPT. We're not just going to be copying and pasting and giving a load of bullet points and emojis and all of that rubbish. We're going to be giving them a full, really professional report. So we're going to say, this is what we learned about your business. Here are the biggest opportunities for AI and automation that we found. Here's our recommended plan, starting with the quickest wins. And here's the potential ROI that you can expect. Now, my top tip, you can train your custom GPT on everything that HighLevel does. There is so much information out there from HighLevel. So you can literally take that, add that into the knowledge base of your custom GPT and say, when you're recommending things that I can do to help these businesses, and when I put those transcripts in, use everything that you know about HighLevel and tell me what you recommend. Then businesses will literally run to your affiliate link or your SaaS subscription, because you're literally saying everything that you want, you can pretty much do on here. So you're going to earn even more money from that. So that's a really good top tip. Even if you don't know everything that HighLevel does right now, that information is out there. So put all of that information into there and let your custom GPT know. You can give it a fancy name if you want. Don't know what you'd call it. Andy Audit. I don't know. Anyway, now this is the magic. This is where things get really, really spicy, and it happens like literally in a click, which is amazing. So the cherry on top to really give that wow moment when you're giving this report is to use the GHL prospecting tool. Let me know in the comments if you've used it. If you haven't, you are missing out. Honestly, when I discovered this, I was having a play around and I discovered it and I was like, oh, wow. So the prospecting tool, we're going to dive into this even more tomorrow. For the prospecting tool, you can literally search for a business it's in your HighLevel account. You'll search for the business. HighLevel will pull up loads of information. It will say how many reviews they're getting. It will say, do they have a chat widget on their website? It will say, do they have so much stuff? It goes through so much stuff, and you can actually then just export this entire PDF. So even if you're thinking, as a starting point, this is my answer. As a starting point, if you don't know how to do any of that other stuff, and you're thinking, I don't know how to use custom GPTs. I don't know how to do all of that stuff. I don't really know what Carly's been talking about for the last almost hour. Then just do this. Go get your HighLevel account, go to the GHL prospecting tool, put in the business that you want to work with. You could charge 50, 100, 500 for this. And you say, look, I run a report on your business and this is what I found. I found that you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this. I can help you do that. It's the simplest process. So if you are not using this prospecting tool, definitely dive into it. I think it's one of the best things that HighLevel have done. And it literally happens so easily. So yeah, so it is for existing clients. I think that was about the snapshot. But what I will say is it is so worth upgrading to the higher plan for the prospecting tool, because the output that you get is incredible. And it just makes it so easy to kind of get those get those services in. So as I said, we're going to dive into that even more. We've got so much more to cover, but let's go into it. So the next step after that, you get a whole load of text in your ChatGPT. And instead of just taking that text and emailing it over and saying, hey, look at all this information that I found, which, let's be honest, is going to overwhelm them even more, you can actually run it through something called Gamma app. It's another AI tool, super, super cool. You put the copy into there, and then it's going to generate a whole report for you. It looks super fancy. So like this one here, this was one of the reports that I did. It's going to take the copy, put it into photos, put it into a really nice, smart report. It's branded as you. You can have themes on there, and then you've got all of that. So the final step of it is your debrief call. This is where you're going to book another call with the founder or whoever purchased the audit, and you're going to go through the report with them. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to do here. So you get on the call, you show them go through the report, and then the second thing, I'm going to show you this slide here, right? So this slide, this is where we actually show the future plans, the big swings, the quick wins, and the nice to haves. So we can see here, we are looking at what is low impact and high impact, and what is low cost and what is high cost. So this is actually going to give us our kind of quadrant where we can figure out the tasks that they need to have done. We can actually sort them into, this would be a quick win, this would be a big swing, this would be a nice to have, and this would be a future plan. Someone just said, can you go back to the Gamma app? It's just this one. It's this Gamma app here. It's like a blue icon. Very, very cool. So when you're on the call, you can actually present these slides. And again, you're going to get all of my slides. Don't worry, you get the whole thing. So where is the slide deck? Is it a prompt for Gamma? No. So on Gamma, you're going to get this report. So this one here. And then you're also going to get my slide deck. So the report is what you would email them. And you would say, hey, I have your report. On the call, this is where we're going to go through the slide deck, and we're really going to talk and present it. There's many other slides that we're going to go through, but I just want to show you these here. So the first one is where we're looking at, this is what we've identified. These are the quick wins that you want to focus on first, and these are the big wins that you want to focus on. And then this is the money slide. I call it the money slide because, yes, we're talking about, how much money they're going to save and how much money they're going to make if they do these things. But it's the money slide because this is the moment when you're on that debrief call and you go through all of these findings that you actually see their brain starting to go. And they're like, oh, I totally see it. I totally see the impact this can have. So what we're looking at here is we're saying, if you added an AI sales assistant, this would save you 600 hours a month because there's loads of stuff going on, loads of people that are doing this if you're running a big business. The average full-time employee rate of that person is $45 an hour. The full-time employees saved, you're going to save 3.6 employees. So we can work out all of this as well. This can all be done on the custom GPT. This is how much money you're going to save. And this is basically your ROI. So this becomes a completely different conversation. We are now not having a discovery call where we're trying to sell our services and saying, this is why we're really good. Here's some case studies of people that I've worked with. This is why you should go with me over every other agency service. Instead, we are saying, if you do these things, this is the ROI you're going to get. It's so black and white. It's a completely different conversation. And so it's so easy for them to make that decision where they say, yeah, this makes total sense. Why wouldn't I spend... where are we? Why wouldn't I spend $421,000. This is for a really big business. Why wouldn't I spend $421,000 if it was going to make me $723,000? Why wouldn't I spend 10K in order for this build out if it's going to make me 50K? It's so easy to show that comparison slide, and going this on the call is super, super powerful. So the first one is run through the report. The second one is present your proposal. So after they've gone through all of that and they're like, I want it. How do I do it? How do we do this? What's the plan? Everyone's going to be excited at this point. I would expect some kind of like capital letters in the chat, and people will be like, yes, I want it. How do we do this? Then obviously then you can present the next steps. And as I said, they can either do it themselves if they have a team that can do it. You could refer this to a partner agency. So you may just have people that you want to refer it to, and then you get a kickback commission, or you can do it yourself in-house in your agency. But either way, 90% of what every business needs right now is on HighLevel. So either way, you are going to get paid if you're recommending them to use that as well. So it's such a nice, clean delivery model. So we've covered a lot. My throat is hoarse. I've covered so much. I've spoken so much, but don't worry, because tomorrow we're going to be diving even more. I'm going to be showing you exactly what this process looks like. So I've kind of gone like, we've gone overview, we've gone like the next layer, and then tomorrow we're going the next layer even deeper. I'm going to be showing you what funnel page goes there, what email goes there, what funnel page then happens there, and then what happens. So I'm showing you the entire process that allows us to that has allowed me to automate the entire process. How to price your audit. I've seen this question pop up quite a lot. How do you price it? How do you know what to charge? How on earth can you charge 10K for an audit? I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do that and showing you the pricing framework, and also how to get clients who are begging to pay you. We will go into it all. And also how to actually, so how to get those clients, and how to do it if you don't want to create loads of content, or if you do want to create content, what to actually create your content on. So we've got a lot to do tomorrow.
There's definitely a handful of questions around the snapshot. So for you folks that are maybe brand new, installing the snapshot link, you want to open up your HighLevel account, whether it's your paid account or your trial account, on a window, and then you want to open up a new tab on the same window, and then copy and paste the snapshot link on that window. So that way it'll give you a prompt to import now. So you'll want to have one browser, one with your HighLevel account logged in, and then the second one that you open up new, copy and paste the snapshot link, and it'll ask you to import now. I hope that helps. And we're going to go over those components of the snapshot tomorrow. So there is a lot of different pieces to it. You could try to figure it out, or you could just join us back tomorrow and get step by step. There are some other questions here, Carly, around the types of clients that are the most ideal for this type of audit. Do you have any recommendations, some guidance on that?
For sure, yeah. So I would say normally if they, I'll say my ideal client, but then I'll also say people that I have done it for as well. My ideal client is really a business that is doing upwards of 300K annually, 300 to 500K annually, and ideally between 5 to 10 employees. That's a really good kind of sweet spot, because they've got a bit of money to spend, they're not, they have money to spend on this, but also they have a team, but it's a really lean team, and probably their business is growing, faster than their team can handle, and every team member is stretched thin. So they are really looking at how can we, make sure that we're getting the most out of our team and automate as much as possible. So that's a really good sweet spot. But what I would say, I have done this for other businesses that are, just one person or, 3 people. So I did it for a lot of property people before. And it's good. You can still, the questions all still apply. The results are still the same. You can still give the same output. The only difference is that you can't really charge as much, I would say, if you're doing it between 1 to 3 people, because you're only doing one interview call. So I kind of base it a lot on like how many interview calls am I doing, and that's how I structure a lot of the pricing. So if I'm going to get one client, for example, if one client turns into 5 interview calls or 8 interview calls, I can charge a lot more from that. So the ROI of getting that one client for me is much bigger. And of course, that's probably going to be a bigger build out project as well. So you really can do this for anyone. I would say if you are brand new to this and you are thinking, well, I love the idea, but this scares the bejesus out of me. Like, how do I even know how to do this? I would say do this with, you know, someone that's just one person or 2 people, where you could say, can I just interview you and the other person in your business and let me get a lay of the land? And you can do it for free to get your practice going, you know, to really start feeding your flow with it. You don't have to charge straight away, but eventually where we're going to be getting to, and you can get here really quick, is that you want to be charging for this, and this is going to be your kind of core offer, really.
Okay. And then there was a question kind of related to that, where when they say yes, what should I be doing next? Is it something that you're outsourcing for someone brand new? Are you just going to do you just go the consultant route? You know, because, you know, based on what that report says, and then coupling with HighLevel, this would be a good opportunity to use and fulfill in-house as well. How would you coach on that?
Yeah, so it really depends. I think whenever I'm, you know, coaching any business owners, the number one question you have to ask is, what do you want? What is the life and the business that fits around what you want day to day? Think of your ideal day. Think of your ideal week. If that looks like having a team, then definitely go that route. If that looks like outsourcing it to another agency, then go that route. For me, I really love the consulting stuff. So my route is that I'm now outsourcing it to another agency, doing some stuff in-house if there's certain things where I feel like we've got the perfect skill set in-house, outsourcing a lot of it, and then offering consultancy on top of it, where I can just kind of help steer the ship and help steer this implementation. So it really depends on you. I'm not going to tell you that there's a right way or a wrong way, because the number one question has to be, what do you want? You know, we have such an incredible opportunity here with HighLevel, and this is what it's given to me. This is the tool that's allowed me to create a business exactly as I want it, that fits in perfectly with my life. And so ask that question to yourself. What's the life that I want to live? And of those 3 options, which fits into that life better? I know some people that want to be multi-million agencies and have a massive team, and I think that's amazing. So just really see what's right for you.
Thank you. Awesome. William asks here, how do you pre-qualify leads to make sure they have at least 300K to 500K or more than 5 employees? Is there a tool or something you specifically do, or a Google search?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. So I use a automated LinkedIn tool called Link Savvy. And basically this will reach out to, it will find those people. Use Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. It finds those people that I want to, that are perfect. So they have that, they're in that price bracket, have a certain number of team members, and then it will go and connect with those people. So I know that anyone that's connecting with, they're in that price bracket. A second way of doing that, though, if you don't want to use a tool to do outreach like that, creating content that speaks firstly directly to the problems that type of business owner has, you're going to start to whittle out the people that don't have a business of that size. But secondly, you are going to, you can just say it directly out there. If you're a business owner and you're doing upwards of 500K, I'm sure you have, you're struggling all the time to know how you can implement AI, whatever that advert would be. So you can be super specific with your messaging, but also really subtle things like changing your bio and your LinkedIn and your Instagram. You could say, I work with business owners doing 300K plus or 500K plus or whatever it is, and just start to get that messaging in there. Even a caption that says, when I work with business owners that are doing upwards of 300K, what I find is, you don't have to say I only work with these people, but there's certain things in your messaging which is going to start to plant the seed if that's who you work with. And don't worry about thinking, yeah, but what about all the other people? Am I not losing out on all of this business? A lot of those people will still want to work with you, and they will still keep you in mind for when they get to that. That's a really good level, by the way. There are so many small business owners at that level that need a lot of help. So don't worry about niching into that level.
Yep. And then I think we have let's see. Okay. So when it comes to, I'll pull this up here.
Oh, by the way, I see a question about the slides. The slides are coming tomorrow. There's a couple of things that I just want to change on it, just to make sure that it's really clear for you to understand it. I don't want to give you a bunch of slides and you look at it and you think, what am I even putting here? So I'm actually adapting my slides to make sure that you can follow along really easily and you know what to put where. So just I'll give you that one tomorrow. That will be in the folder.
Yeah, and we also want you to come back tomorrow too. So we got to hold something back here, folks. We can't give you the whole presentation tomorrow and you don't come back. We'd love to have you here. So, I think based on just understanding what you're teaching here, Carly, for someone brand new, it's also kind of teaching me some business acumen. So like you said, you set up the Dan Martell GPT. Maybe you're in the restaurant industry, so you set up a GPT around somebody who, one of these, John Taffer, or some people that do these reality shows. You're grabbing some of the information that's out there about them, getting their perspective. And if I'm brand new, I'm taking that. Then I'm taking some of the information and features that HighLevel has. I'm throwing that in there. And then it really becomes ask the right question, you shall get the right answer. I think at that point, right? So now I send a bunch of DMs out on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm following up. Someone sees me, my name, image, and likeness, gets me a conversation. I book an appointment. Am I doing some pre-research on my own to just kind of spark it on the phone to finalize that? Or am I booking the appointment and just showing up without asking any questions? Is there a pre-intake form or kind of, prerequisite kind of thing you put together?
Absolutely, yeah. So as soon as they pay, that triggers a welcome email to them that has 3 steps. It will say, hey, here's the link to book your interview call. So it's going to automatically take them to that page. So they can book that call in your calendar, and you can block out certain times on your calendar of when you want to do those interview calls. It's also going to say, here is a pre-intake form. So make sure you fill out that form, and it's got some questions there. Just asking basic things, what's your revenue? What's your team? What's your biggest frustration? Just so that I've got a little bit of an idea before we get on that call. But, the interview calls are really designed to get a lot of information. And also don't forget that we're selling this audit through chat. A lot of the time I'm selling this through the DMs and I'm asking a lot of questions there. So by the time they book that audit with me, I already know a fair amount about their business, because if they're not a right fit, I'm not going to offer it to them. So, and again, all of those, that whole script of how you sell in the chat and how you qualify them is all in there. So, yeah, we go into all of that, but that whole thing is automated. As soon as they pay, then that whole process of getting them on the interview, taking the pre-intake form, all the emails that go after that is all fully automated.
But someone brand new, Carly, they can name their own price on this. They can go phone call, in person, from in their car or on a Zoom call, and just leverage this on their second screen as additional support. Is that fair?
Start off, if you're brand new to this, start off free. Ask some people, can I do an audit for you of your business? I'm getting good at, I'm trying to learn my way of doing this. Can I do this? People will bite your arm off for that. So do that for free for like 5 people. Then start charging $200 for it, $500 for it. The reason why I can charge $5K to $10K now is, I've done it for a little while now, but the point is that when you are using this custom GPT, you are going to accelerate your learning curve, because every time I'm going back and I'm talking to my GPT and I'm saying, you can even say, why did you suggest that? Why did you tell me that you think they should have that? Can you explain that to me? And so you're going to be using this custom GPT as your coach to help train you to become a better consultant. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you're like, I know exactly what it's going to say. But first of all, you can use this to train you. The number one thing we all need to be doing right now is upskilling. Everyone needs to be upskilling. So whether you decide that this is the business model for you or not, this is only going to help you upskill, and you're going to become a much more qualified person in this AI revolution that we're in. So regardless, it is an incredible exercise. Even if you want to do this as a lead magnet, if you don't want to charge and you want to use this as a lead magnet, use the high-level prospecting tool, say, hey, I just pulled up this report for you. Let's jump on a call. I'd love to talk you through it. You could even do it like that if you want to.
Oh.
So there's so many options with it, but this process is super slick, and it makes the actual selling of your agency services a lot easier.
Awesome. So how many of you now have already started by creating your own GPT? Let us know in the comments here. And keep the questions coming so we can get caught up and get you the help you need. Carla, as we close out here, is there anything else that we should be going over? Any particular items you want the audience to be prepared for on tomorrow's start?
No, so what I would say is it's like late at night for me in the UK now, but you guys have got all day. So what I would say is if you go onto the YouTube link that I shared with you, that's going to teach you how to set up a custom GPT. So it's going to show you how you can, go onto ChatGPT, where to click the button, how to set up this GPT, how to apply your prompt, and how to publish it. So it's everything is really step by step now. So I really recommend diving in. You don't have to. Within 30 minutes, you'll have the information that you need from there. So definitely dive into that. That would be a good tip, I would say.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of people here are excited about using AI for themselves as part of this whole process. Sometimes when we do these workshops, Carly, not everybody is at the expert or mid-level expertise of high level. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, but this is more of like a sales strategy, learn as you go approach as well.
What this does is it means that you don't have to be a pro salesperson. I've been on so many sales calls and I've completely bombed. I've got really sweaty whenever I talk about the price. I'm like, you don't have to pay though. If you don't want to do it, don't worry. And I just get really weird and freaked out at the end of it. And I hate sales calls. They just, I get all sweaty and I don't want to do it. And so this is why I think it's the perfect model, even for someone that is a beginner. If you're a beginner, using that GHL prospecting tool, even if you don't worry about any of the other stuff, use that as a starting point, because those calls, when you're then going to sell your services, is a completely different experience. It's so easy to say, this is what I think you should do. This is the ROI you're going to get. Let's go. And you're not getting the sweat.
And what I'm thinking now is like, once I do a few of these, I get really good at looking it up. I have my GPT warmed up. I could go on a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, have people comment their business name, just kind of build some noise around it. Or I could even do a bunch of these and record them and use it as part of my social content. So instead of trying to create a podcast, I'm creating like a consultancy cast of like, hey, I'm working with, fitness centers or personal trainers or insurance agents from across the globe. And we're finding this, and this, and just kind of build that that business talk track.
I love that idea, JB.
Yeah.
Oh, you're giving me.
This is pretty cool. I'm telling you, Carly, when you think you know enough and then you jump on a YouTube video, like mind blown. I'm really, really excited about these comments. If you get a moment, Carl, if you could jump in here, there is a few questions that maybe you could jump in and help with, but looks like these folks are really excited. So on that note, I'm pumped what we got tomorrow. I know we got an extra, handful of slides, a bit of a techie day. So everyone, you do need your trial. So now, Carly, I have my tablet to my left. I have my laptop to the right. We're going to unpack on the snapshot. What are the batteries that I have to put in that are not included?
Well, you would need ChatGPT, obviously, if you want to do that. But I think the main
free account works okay. Create your free account on that. Have it ready.
If you want to do a custom GPT, you would need the paid account of ChatGPT. But you can, if you want to, still use that prompt, not in a paid account. So if you don't want to use a paid account, it's absolutely fine. You just do the free account, start a chat, and then put that prompt in there. You're still going to get that output. It's just if you're using it all the time, you'd probably want it as a custom GPT, but that is definitely a great place to start. So you do not need a paid version if you want to just try it out. The things that honestly, I've given you everything. I'm not even going to pretend. I'm not even
a glass of water, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, full night of sleep, and get ready to build. Awesome.
Yeah,
Look, folks,
exactly.
as we're getting ready to wrap up here, continue to jot down your questions. We will carry them over definitely to tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. Carly, could you close us out, and I can try to find the end stream button here while you do that.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I'm just so excited for you guys. You know, really make sure you come back tomorrow, dive into all that stuff we've said. And as I've said, you know, we are in the most incredible time right now. We genuinely are. There is so much opportunity for us, and we just need to like take it and take action. As I said, messy action is the reason why I am where I am today. I would sit on these calls, stop, you know, turn it off, and then I would just jump in and just start figuring it out. The beauty of this is that you don't have to figure a load of this out because I've done it all for you. And I really recommend that you do take what I've given you, because it will save you, you know, years of time. But this is a new way of doing things, and I think if you can start to think of yourself and start to position yourself in this open market of AI consultancy and helping people implement AI and automation, then it is a beautiful, beautiful future for you. I'm super excited about being in this space, and I'm excited for all of you as well.
Well, thank you all. If you all wouldn't mind, please, in the comments below, if you could help me give a warm thank you to Carly and her efforts and her time and just kind of pouring out to us everything we need to know. We'll be back tomorrow. I found the end stream button, so there won't be an awkward delay. And we'll be back at it strong, ready to go. Thank you again, and we'll see you then.